crafty friends, Carrie here. Today is day 2 of the 25 gifts under $10, and we are going to be making this beautiful tri-fold stationery gift. And you will just be using things that you already have in your stash. No need to go out and buy anything for this project. Okay, so let's get started. So first I'm going to show you some of the things that I'm putting in. So I have these cards. These are from Michaels. I buy them when they're on Hot Buy, and you get this set of 60 cards for $5. And I just pulled some out of my stash. Now these, I buy the wedding invitation packets a lot at Hobby Lobby when they're on clearance. And so these are the RSVP cards and envelopes. If you don't have these, you could cut some paper about 3 by 5 from white cardstock, and then just take some distress ink and a dauber, and then just kind of come in around the edges. You can make the envelopes just from copier paper and then do the same thing with the distress ink and have something very similar. No need to go out and buy anything. I'm going to put in this little sticker sheet. Then these are Project Life cards. I have a lot of Project Life cards, so I just pulled out some that I thought would go well. Here again, if you don't have these, most paper pads have some cut apart journaling cards. And if not, you could just pick some pretty sheets from one of your paper pads and cut it down to size. So the small cards are like 3 by 4, and then the large ones are like 4 by 6. So you could create something similar if you don't have Project Life cards. Okay, and if you don't have cards, some options are you can get a pack of 8 cards at Dollar Tree for $1, or you could take some pretty paper and make your own cards and then make envelopes using copy paper. Now these are just the regular size envelopes. They're like the 3 by 6.5. And then this is just 8.5 by 11 copy paper. I happen to have some pink copy paper, and on the 11-inch side I cut it in half. And now I'm going to take this pink ink and this little flower stamp, and I'm just going to stamp down at the bottom corner on each one of these sheets of paper, just so it's not plain. And you could pick any stamp you have that you like and any ink you like. If you have some other stationery paper, you could certainly use that. This is just what I had on hand. And I'm going to do about I think 10 or 12 pieces of paper. So as you can see, that goes relatively quickly. And then I'm going to take the envelopes and I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to, on the side that the return address would be on, I'm just going to stamp a little matching flower down at the bottom. I ended up doing 8 envelopes. I thought I had brought more in, but I only brought in 8, so I just did the 8. Okay, so now all of that is ready to go, and we're going to start on our project. So you're going to need some solid cardstock and some decorative cardstock. And I'm just going to take two of these pale pink 12 by 12 sheets. And then I'm using this hot buy pad. And there, I'm going to show you. You cut apart journaling cards if you don't have Project Life cards. And I was kind of flipping through here to decide which one I want to use. Okay, I am going to take that sheet because I'm going to use those for some tags. And I decide to go with this pink floral sheet, so I take those two out. And I'm thinking I might want one of those, but I'm not sure yet. Okay, so we are going to, I just found some pink twine and another thing I want to do this tags. So we're going to start with making the base for our pad, and I'm going to take one of these papers and I'm going to get my scoreboard out. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to score this at 3 inches. And that was just me checking the size to make sure. So yeah, I'm going to do it at 3 inches. So after I score this at 3 inches, I'm going to turn it. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to score at 6 inches. And then I'm going to come over and score at 6 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and crease all the folds. And you want to fold toward the side that has the little ridge when you do the scoring. One side will have a divot and the other side has a little ridge, and you want to fold toward the ridge. Okay, so we're going to set this aside and I'm going to get out the other sheet of pink cardstock. And what I end up doing while I'm trying to figure this out is I end up scoring at 1/2 inch and then at 3/4 inch. Okay, so like I said, I score at 1/2 inch and then at 3/4 inch. And then I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I am going to cut it at 6 3/4 inch. Okay, and then we're going to put it back in the trimmer on the 12-inch side. And I'm going to come in and I am going to score at 3 inches. And then we're going to fold the creases. Okay, once you get the glue on, then you're going to I will take glue and you are going to put it on, line it up 1/2 inch strip on the larger piece. So the piece that is the 6 inches. You want to use, want to make sure you get it matched up and crease it down good so that you get a good seal. And then you will have it where it folds. Okay. Now we're going to take scissors and well, I just found I didn't have it glued all the way down, so I'll come in and add a little more glue. Okay, we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut out these little, like, 1/4 inch where you have it creased. And you want to cut up to the 3-inch score line. And you want to make sure you get all the way up. Okay, and then you're just going to snip this off and leave about an 1-inch long piece. And just fold that up and glue that down. Okay, now we are going to just take a little sliver off of this middle one on both sides, just a small sliver, probably about 1/8 of an inch, not very big. And then I'm going to round the corners using a 1/2 inch on the inside corners of those 2 outside flaps. And then I'm going to take this paper, I'm going to cut 2 1-inch strips, and then I will trim them down so that they are just slightly less than 3 inches high. Okay, so after I trim these down so that they're slightly less than 3 inches, I'm just going to center them and I'm going to just score these right at 1/2 inch. So basically you're just scoring them in half. And just take these and we'll crease these. And then we're just going to do a little angle cut on each end. Okay. And then you're going to add glue and just line it up right on the edge of the center pocket, or what will be a pocket. You do the other side. And then I'm going to let those set up for just a minute. Just run a little bead of glue right there on the outside edge on both of the outer flaps, which will make our little pocket there. Now I'm going to come back in and add glue on the other side of those. Just put that down, press them down, use your bone folder. And then you take your bone folders, kind of go inside just to make sure you have those down and secure. Okay, so now we are going to get ready to mat the outside. And so I'm going to take the decorative cardstock that I have picked out. And you're going to need one piece that is 5 3/8 of an inch by 8 3/4, and then you will need 2 pieces that are 5 3/4 of an inch by 8 3/4 of an inch. And I will put all the measurements and the score marks and everything in the description box below. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and trim this first. I'm going to cut it down to the 8 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to come in and cut the paper down. And then this is just me resetting it. I didn't make a prototype before I made this, so you're getting to see me actually doing my figuring out while you're watching. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this down to 8 3/4. Okay, so we are going to get ready to mat the outside. And And I am putting glue all over this piece, but I am going to decide that I want to run a piece of ribbon. So this flap is the one that will go on top. It's the one that's slightly smaller. So I just take a length of ribbon and run it around. And then I just kind of center it. Okay, and then I just line this up and just basically center that. And then I get the glue down good. Okay, and then we're going to do the one in the middle. And do the same thing. We're going to get glue all over it and then just center it in between the score marks. Now, I will move the ribbon out of the way before I put the mat on for the one that folds in, because I don't want the ribbon to run through that, because that piece folds into the folder, into the trifold. Okay, and so now I'm looking at this and I decide that I want to mat the inside. And I'm debating because I don't have enough left from the paper that I used on the outside to mat the inside. So I flip through my paper pad again and I will pull out a piece that I feel coordinates with it well. Okay, so you're going to want the same sizes as we had before. So you're going to want them 8 3/4 of an inch high, and you will want one that's 5 3/8 of an inch and two that are 5 3/4. Now, I decided I didn't want to use another 12 by 12 piece. So in the coordinating one, I cut one of those at the 5 3/8 of an inch wide, and then one at the 5 3/4. And then I'm going to take the piece of cardstock that I had left from the front matting, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it down to 8 3/4, and it is 5 3/4 wide. I'm checking it, and I make it 5 3/4 wide. Okay. So I'm just trying this out, and I realized because I have the glue on the edge of these outside pockets that I need to take a little piece off. So I just marked the height of the pocket on the paper, and then basically I just cut off probably about 1/4 of an inch little piece right there off the side. Okay, and then I put the glue on, and then I will slip it in there and get it centered and smooth it down. And then I realized it's a teeny little bit overhanging, so then I got that. And then I tried this one out, and it fits in fine, so I don't need to do any trimming on it. So I'll go ahead and I get the glue. And I make the center one the same paper as what I had matted the outside. Okay, let's get in here and make sure I get it sealed down good. And in the pocket. And then we are going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to mark it with my pencil, and then I will cut a little 1/4 inch piece out so that it will fit in. I'm just adding a little bit more glue to the edge. Okay. when I get this one in, I'm going to then mat the pockets. And what I'm going to do is I will use 2 pieces of paper that are the same as the center mat to mat the 2 outside pockets. And then I will use a piece of paper that's the same, the kind of green leaf print, to mat the middle pocket. And so they need to be 2 3/4 of an inch high, and then you'll need one that's 5 3/8 of an inch wide, and 2 that are 5 3/4 of an inch wide. And then once you have that, this is the way I'm going to do it. And then I just quarter round the matching corner. And I'll go ahead and get the glue on all of these. This came together really quickly. Once I picked out all my pieces. Okay, and now I decide that I do want to get one of those pieces. And I decide that I want a particular one, that one, the big one there. So I just get it and I get it trimmed. And I'm just going to center it on the front cover. And then just use my bone folder to get it stuck down good. Okay, and now I'm going to cut apart some of these cut aparts to make tags. I end up cutting all of these, but then I just do 8 to include in the stationery set. So I just cut 2 of these strips apart, and I end up with 8 little, what will be tags. Okay, and then I just take like 4 of them together, and I just nip off the corners. And then I'm going to take my crocodile, and I use the small, the 1/16 of an inch punch, because these are small tags. And I just punch a little hole approximately in the center. And I'm looking for my pink twine. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm looking for my stamp. Okay, this is my little to from stamp, and I'm just going to stamp to from down at the bottom of each tag. And then I will get the twine, and I don't know how much I pull, probably 6 inches. And I'm just going to cut 8 pieces. And then I just merely fold it in half, feed it through the little hole, and do the little slip knot, whatever you call that, on each one of these little tags. And that will finish off the tags for this. And then we will put our stationery set together. So if you use things that you already have in your stash, this is a very inexpensive project. I mean, there's not more than a few dollars worth of stuff in this. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put the stationery sheets in the middle pocket and the envelopes. And then I decide to put the cards from Michael's over on the right side. And then I put those little RSVP cards there, and I tuck my Project Life cards in behind it. And then I tuck my little tags in, fold it closed. We just tie it with a bow here on the side. And that will complete our project. I hope you enjoyed this. If you create one and do a YouTube video, I'd love to be tagged so I can see it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Click the bell for notifications. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful, happy, crafty day.